This is One-on-One. Dr. Michael Ehrlich, Associate Professor, School of Management, New Jersey Institute of Technology. Good to see you, Doctor.
Thank you for having me on.
You talk a lot about being an entrepreneur. You say that anyone can be an entrepreneur, and I ask myself, where'd you come up with that? Seriously, can anyone be an entrepreneur?
Seriously, anyone can be an entrepreneur.
Make the case.
So all you really need to do is have an idea that meets a few basic standards and qualifications. You need to sort of think about who the customers are. Oftentimes people think of themselves as the customer, so they develop a product that really works for them and they try to find other people like them. And then you need to figure out how to go to the market. And so kind of what an entrepreneur's problem is typically they don't have the resources they need to start this idea in this company.
I don't have the capital.
That's right. So in fact, we work with anybody who's interested to try to help explain to them how to gather the resources. Oftentimes, actually, they need less resources than they think. Nowadays, it costs less to start a company than it ever has in the past. Actually, in the past, you might have needed a whole bank of servers and a lot of other equipment just to even get started with some sort of computer technology, for example. Now, for pennies, you can have access to huge resources in the cloud and really have almost no cost to actually start your technology-based company.
Is that what you mean by the quote-unquote lean startup?
So lean startup is an idea that was really originated out of Stanford University by Steve Blank. And what really the idea is having people go to the market with very little. So instead of spending all your time in the lab tinkering and trying to come up with the perfect whatever it is that you're trying to come up with, as soon as you have an idea, go out to the market, start talking to customers, create what they call a minimum viable product. That is not the perfect thing. That's just the least thing that is going to solve the problem of some customers. Start to engage with customers. They will tell you what it is you need to do in order to be successful. They will pay you to actually develop that thing that's going to make you successful, that they want to buy that they need.
Hold on, it sounds like what you're saying is don't try to perfect it, spend money in the lab or wherever, and then go to the market. You're saying use the market as a focus group, get that feedback, and tinker along the way.
And get them to pay for you to develop the thing that they want. So in fact, you really don't need to go out and get a lot of venture capital or angel capital. You might need some, but in fact, if customers are telling you what they need and they have a problem, they'll pay you to solve their problem. And if your technology is valuable and is going to be a valuable business, they'll play along with you and they'll work with you. In fact, especially those early customers, those early adopters, the ones who are most enthusiastic, the ones who are most prepared to sort of try something new, they're looking to get involved in these new things. And so those early adopters will buy your minimum viable product. That'll help feed what you're doing. You'll then make improvements to the product. You're not going to stop right there. You're going to continue to make improvements. You'll use the money they give you. It's called bootstrapping. You can actually get yourself a very long way. And before you know it, you have a company that's up and running and millions of dollars in revenue.
You have said that there are, in starting a business, there are 4 very important questions that every smart potential entrepreneur must consider. They are?
Absolutely. So you need to be able to know what's the problem you're trying to solve. It's got to be a good problem. It's got to be a big problem. It's got to be one that people are prepared to pay for solving. So if it's a trivial problem, it's not going to make any headway. So it's got to be a good problem. Second, you need to have a solution. What's the application? You need to have a solution, whether it's a technology-based solution, whether it's a device, whether it's a service, any of those things, but you need to have a credible solution to that problem. Third, you need to figure out how you're going to make any money doing it, right? So when Google first came out, it's a great service, but nobody knew how they're going to make any money.
What are the economics?
Well, what are the economics? How are you going to make any money? Because even if you want to run a not-for-profit business, you still need to get money coming in.
Time out. We run a this production company is a not-for-profit.
Right.
Which is a misnomer. People go, oh, so money doesn't matter.
No.
Really? Who's paying for these cameras?
Right.
Who's paying for these overpaid, I'm sorry guys, who's paying for these very talented people behind the scenes, right?
Absolutely.
Who's paying for the advertising? That's a nonprofit doesn't mean you're not concerned about money.
No. In fact, you need to be providing a service. You need to get people to pay you for that service.
That's right.
Even if you're not for profit. So you need to figure out how you're going to make any money.
Question 3. Sorry for interrupting.
And number 4, that's okay. Number 4, you need to figure out who's the competition and how you're going to fit into that landscape.
Why do I have to think about the competition? Why can't I just think about what I want to do?
You can. The problem is if you don't think about the competition, then you basically waste a lot of resources and a lot of time. The competition is a very complicated space, but you need to figure out where is your niche? Where's the white space? Where's the opportunity for you? What's the thing that you can do that's going to be better than other people? If you can't figure out how you're going to be better than the guys who are out there already, cheaper or better or whatever, providing a service everybody else is not providing, then you're not going to have. So you need to be able to answer those 4 questions. Now, if you can do a good job answering those 4 questions, you might have a business. At that point, you might.
Where's the guarantee?
There's no guarantee. Being an entrepreneur is a high-risk business. Okay, there's no, certainly half of the entrepreneurs who get started don't make it past about their 3rd year. So, but that's not a disaster, because when you're an entrepreneur and you get started and you maybe have run into some problems and that business is not a success, it's okay, because actually from my perspective, the important thing is you're learning stuff. And so the mantra of the lean startup is learn as much as you can that's going to help make you successful. Have the customers tell you, start with your minimum viable product. But if it turns out not to be successful, not a disaster, because failure is just one of the steps on the way to success.
So failure. We have to look at, quote, the term failure, or the concept of failure when it comes to being an entrepreneur in a very different way.
Absolutely. Failure is a good thing. Failure means you're learning stuff. Failure means you're trying new things. If you're never trying anything new, you're certainly not going to succeed. What do they say? Every putt that doesn't make it to the hole is not going to make it in, right? The answer is if you're not putting past it.
Yeah, somebody's putting for a 20-foot birdie, right?
Right.
They don't get to the hole. They have no chance of getting in.
That's right.
Somebody putts 4 feet past the hole. Oh, my God, you putt past the hole. The only shot you had of making the putt is by putting past the hole.
Absolutely.
Business is the same?
Same. You need to take a chance on missing, and frankly, a large part of the time you do miss. And of course, sometimes it takes you a second or third try before you actually kind of, score and find a business that's going to be successful.
But here's the only thing. But you said everyone's a born entrepreneur, and I'm thinking everyone doesn't have that stomach, that
Okay, so I didn't say everyone was a born entrepreneur. I said anyone could be an entrepreneur.
Okay,
that's
go
a
ahead.
little
I
bit
apologize.
different. No, it's okay. Because in fact, you're right. Typically, there's times in people's lives when they're kind of more open to being entrepreneurs. Young people who have kind of not so much at stake and maybe don't have a wife and children or whatever, a family to support, they can be entrepreneurs. They can work for very little money. They can take a chance, and failure is not so consequential for them. Mind you, on the other side, people who are near the end of their careers, who are retiring, maybe they got laid off at 50 or 55, but they know a lot, and they know customers, they know valuable information, they can launch businesses also very productively. And so there's times in people's lives when it's really good for them to be entrepreneurs. So anybody can be an entrepreneur. You need the passion, you need to have the idea, you need to have the passion, and you point out correctly, you need to have the stomach. But there's times when people kind of more naturally have those things. And so we actually try to work with them to try to train them and help them, teach them, whether it be at the university, whether it be at the community. And NJIT is a fantastic location to do that. And I mean, NJIT is, New Jersey Science and Technology University. We have students in engineering, all the disciplines, computer science, architecture, design, management. Frankly, we're a natural hotbed for innovation, natural hotbed for these ideas, and we spin them out like crazy.
Well, I appreciate your passion and enthusiasm for entrepreneurs, and I tell you, you just shared important information to a lot of people. I appreciate it, Doctor.
Thank you.
Dr. Michael Ehrlich at NJIT, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One has been provided by Meridian Health, Johnson & Johnson, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, the law firm of Gibbons PC, Cohn Resnick, and by New Jersey Natural Gas. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.